Hi everyone, and thank you so much for watching. This is part 2 of my 3-part video series explaining about how we age and how we need multiple modalities of treatments to get the most holistic approach to aging and treating signs of aging. So what I want to quickly go into is talking about the reason why we see the different changes on the face. And just to give you an example, it isn't just a case of you see more lines and folds. There are many changes going on underneath the surface of the skin. Now, the reason this is so important to look at is whilst we can treat the volume loss that occurs underneath the skin, which results in the depression of the tissues, the sagging, the loss of contour to the cheeks, and the increase of volume to the jawline, we've got to also appreciate that the skin sits on the surface and the texture of the skin will start to change as we get older. Now, whilst we can add volume replacement, if we don't address the surface of the skin, that is what the majority of people see. And getting a really healthy, hydrated surface of the skin means that the products you're putting under the skin to give that volume and contour back get a much better result and they last much longer. So to give you a little bit of the nitty-gritty about the anatomy of the face, I'm going to go into this next slide. So this is a section of the skin cut down so you can see the different layers. The surface of the skin at the very top that look like thin Walker crisps, that's all the dead skin cells that have pushed to the surface. Underneath that, we've got the healthy, juicy skin cells. Now, the rate of these new healthy skin cells slows down, so we get a build-up of the dull, dead skin cells on top. So we need to look at treatments that are going to stimulate the exfoliation of the dead skin and the generation of those new healthy skin cells to get that lovely, smooth, glow, radiant appearance of the skin. Underneath that, we've got the dermis. So the dermis is where the collagen and elastin is made. Now, collagen and elastin gives skin the stretch and the recoil and the strength, which is why when we're younger, the skin is nice and tight. As we get older, the collagen and elastin reduces, which means the skin doesn't stretch back as much. So this means when we look to the layer underneath, which is the fatty tissue, the fat starts to shrink as we get older, and it shrinks mostly in the cheeks and moves down and actually moves into the jawline. So we get more bottom heavy in the jawline. But what happens is because the volume of tissues are shrinking and the skin isn't as tight as it used to be, we get this hanging skin. And remember, the tighter the skin, the more it sucks everything in. So it's important to understand that whilst we need to look at adding volume back where volume has been lost, we also need to look at making sure the skin is as tight and supple as we can get it, and it's actually working and repairing itself from within, so it basically looks as healthy as possible. And this is the reason why I've designed these treatment packages, is to incorporate not just the volume replacement, but to incorporate the skin treatments, because without the skin treatments, we can never get as good a result as what we want. And lastly, just to give you a bit of a quick comparison about the difference between young and aged skin. So as you can see, the epidermis, which is the top layer, gets thinner. The dermis gets thinner and loses the collagen. So the skin loses the strength and resilience, and it starts to drop and break into these fine lines and wrinkles, and the fatty layer also starts to deplete. So we've got multiple layers that we do need to consider, and there's lots of different treatments that are available to stimulate the different layers of the face to get you the best outcome. If we only worked on one of these layers, we would not get the same result as if we worked on all of the different layers. So remember, we've got one more video coming up. In order to get you involved in the launch event in October, you need to just drop down your name or give us a message so you can be on the list to get a special gift on arrival. And these packages will have a special discount for anyone booking at the launch event.